Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Ilana Golant on the line, and she's founder and CEO of the Food Allergy Fund. And just so that you know, this is part of our Milking Global series where we bring you some of the top attendees and participants from the Milking Global Conference and talk about their experience and also what they're up to. So first thing first, Ilana, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. So we got a lot to talk about today. Of course, I want to get into what you're doing at the Food Allergy Fund. But before we get into that, let's get into the conference a bit. So have you been at the conference before? Is this the first time? Talk about your experience, please.
Yes, and it was my first time at Milking Global. I'd been to the Milking Health Summit several times.
Yeah.
It was a terrific experience. In a past life, I was a producer at CNBC, so I had a lot of familiarity with the conference, but had never attended in a CEO capacity and as a representative of an organization. But it was an incredible experience, and it really milked and underscored what I see in food allergy every day, which is we can't solve complex health challenges in silos, and really health innovation only works when science, funding, and lived experience come together, and that's exactly the model that we're building at the Food Allergy Fund.
Ah, that's amazing. And I think that's a great transition, too. So talk a little bit more about what got you into this space.
Well, in a nutshell, my daughter. Food allergies are an emerging public health crisis that affect nearly 10% of the U.S. and global population, and research is grossly underfunded for a disease which in the U.S. now affects 1 in 10 adults, 1 in 13 kids. That's roughly 2 kids per classroom, and yet the funding is abysmally low for what is a really significant chronic disease. And so I'm a lawyer by training, worked in media and PR, and then had a daughter with multiple anaphylactic food allergies. I myself developed food allergies as an adult in the last few years, so I see it both as a parent and a patient, and really thought that there was a significant need to bring together all the stakeholders and really accelerate an interest in research funding and innovation. So we work both with academic researchers and early stage companies in the space.
Now, I'm always curious about when a founder has an idea and they want to go out there, they want to solve a problem, but how did you make, in this case, the determination that this was going to be something that was not going to be one of those problems that you kind of let go or leave to somebody else, but you're like, no, I'm going to do this, and this is going to take a significant amount of my time and energy and be a career direction. How did you make that determination? This was going to be a significant part of your life?
Yeah, I mean, I've had multiple professional lives and careers, and for me, it was the mother in me, right? What can I do to make a difference for my daughter and for the hundreds of millions of people living with food allergy around the world, where it's a significant patient population, where it's an unmet need from a treatment standpoint, from a prevention standpoint. And then when I developed food allergies myself as an adult, which anyone can develop food allergies at any time in their lives, it's really a growing problem and very much flying under the radar. And so I really decided to take it on and leverage my various professional skill sets coupled with my mother passion to get the job done.
And as you were going through let's just say the research portion of this, of even understanding that it's all of these needs that you're seeing about it being underfunded, not a lot of research, like all these other things, did anything surprise you as you're kind of going down that journey?
Really kind of the skyrocketing prevalence of the disease over the last 20 years, and also the fact that it's highly correlated with so many other diseases, right? 40% of patients with food allergies also have asthma or atopic dermatitis. And so looking at various chronic diseases that kind of on the surface may seem unrelated, but given the very high level of comorbidity, trying to dig into that. And one area of strategic focus for us is the gut microbiome. And if we think about kind of gut health as being the common denominator, and food allergies, half present in childhood, half present in adulthood, but for the half that present in childhood, they disproportionately show up in the first 2 years of life, which is earlier than asthma, earlier than autism, generally speaking, of course. And so if you think of it in that frameworks, then, well, we're seeing the gut being dysregulated very early in life. And so we really think of food allergy not only as food allergy, the disease itself that we need to solve, but thinking about lifelong gut health for these patients and how the gut dysregulation can have all sorts of ramifications. And so we're really interested in doing a lot of research in the gut microbiome space as it relates to food allergy specifically, but also looking at it from a big picture standpoint.
So why do you think when you think about, like, I don't know, asthma, I'll pick one. I'm not saying that that's the only one, but why do you think that maybe some other spaces, like such as, like, I don't know, asthma or some of the other things, like especially the childhood side of things, like have gotten more attention, but food allergies, even though it affects so many people, it's kind of been overlooked. Like, why do you think that is?
I mean, I wish I knew. I wish it had not been overlooked kind of for the last 20 years. I think this is a very solvable problem. It's been a lack of investment and interest, really. And we're really changing the research paradigm, shifting the narrative. We just released a PSA with Nickelodeon in May during Food Allergy Awareness Month to underscore that this is a huge childhood health crisis that needs to be addressed.
What are you following right now? Like, what's promising in this area of food allergy research right now, and how can this FAS help to accelerate this?
Yeah, so I mean, the gut microbiome is really important. We're funding everything from the world's first fecal transplant for food allergy to symbiotic therapies, looking at gut barrier integrity. We also launched the first repurposing program for food allergy, taking drugs that are already approved by the FDA for other disease states and repurposing them for food allergic patients. So we have 3 studies that are underway under our repurposing program, in addition to a variety of other parts of our research portfolio. And we really think of it as a portfolio in the sense that this is a puzzle with multiple puzzle pieces. And we don't know the cause of food allergies. We believe it is multiple things converging at once that are really contributing to this environmentally, diet, food, etc. And so there's no known cause, no single known cause, and I think there's not going to be one single solution either from a treatment standpoint. And prevention is also equally important, right? How do we prevent food allergies in the next child, but also the next food allergy from developing? The majority of patients, pediatric patients in particular, are now allergic to 4 or more foods, right? Like 20 years ago, you would say, oh, there's a kid with a peanut allergy. That child does not exist anymore, which means that from a lifelong health, kind of thriving diet, nutrition, et cetera, it's becoming a larger problem, because if you're allergic to 4 or more foods, that's the average. And I would say anecdotally what we're seeing, and we talk to hundreds, if not thousands of families a year, is that the younger the child, not only the longer the list of food allergies, but also the list of comorbidities. And so we really need to get to kind of the prevention aspect as well, because if we don't start to prevent and kind of modify the gut, the problem is only going to intensify.
That's so interesting. And I feel like since this is all pretty new, like, and you said that there's going to be, and there, you know, as you get further and further into this, there may be solutions. It's got to be hopeful, because I've only known in my personal life a couple of people that had some pretty severe food allergies. But when you hear that term, first off, like food allergy, you don't exactly know. You might think that for those that haven't lived with somebody closely that has it, but some of these allergies, some of this can be pretty dangerous and debilitating. Like, can you talk about that a little bit? I just don't want to assume that everybody even understands like what that problem means to some individuals if they've never experienced it.
Yeah, I mean, 33 million Americans live with life-threatening food allergies. Every 3 minutes, someone goes to the emergency room and is hospitalized for an allergic reaction. So it is a serious disease. You know, what makes it interesting and complex in other ways from a quality of life standpoint, from a psychosocial impact standpoint, is that it is invisible. When you look at a child or an adult who has food allergies, you don't know that they're living with a life-threatening disease, right? Kind of there's no outward sign of it. And so the quality of life impact is really significant. I mean, especially for children, right? You know, my daughter will say, well, another birthday party and I have to bring my own cupcake, or I can't go to the sleepover, going to sleepaway camp, right? All these childhood milestones that are taken for granted by most people for food allergic families. It is really significant. And there's also another dynamic that's quite unique to food allergy, which is if you think about kind of from a consumer standpoint, I joke my 9-year-old daughter is our chief household officer because her food allergies dictate what cereal we buy, what airline we fly, and that multiplier effect is not true for other disease states, right?
Yeah.
If, a child has juvenile diabetes, the whole family is not going to change its eating consumption, right? Or pattern, or other, autism, asthma, kind of the list goes on. But with food allergy, because cross-contamination is such a significant problem, your entire household becomes impacted by it, in addition to the quality of life for the patient directly. And so these are all reasons that I'm excited to talk to you and others, and so grateful to have attended the Milken Conference, because food allergy is finally getting a seat at the table, and it's being understood as part of the national health conversation. It's a chronic disease that needs urgent investment. It's not a lifestyle issue. And I think for a very long time, food allergies have been dismissed as it's a lifestyle issue or choice, or, you can just avoid the food. And unfortunately, avoiding the food is not so simple.
Yeah, I had a friend who had a severe peanut allergy. Like, it could literally, kill her. And if she's around peanuts, and I remember, like, that particular thing, you don't, like, it's not a joke. Like, that's a serious, serious thing. And if you've never I've never lived with it myself. And like I said, but if I could, I couldn't even imagine that, like, what that's like to walk into a house and see a peanut and see something that could possibly kill you. Like, that can, like, immediately, like, that's a threat. Like, to look at a food like that and it be a threat. And so it's wonderful. I'm a big fan of the work you're doing, and like the fact that more people are going to hear this and get involved. And so, speaking of that, Ilana, by the way, if somebody's listening to or watching this, and if they want to learn more about Food Allergy Fund, how do they do that?
Visit our website, foodallergyfund.org, and get involved. We would love to have more people involved. We're always building our network of researchers, companies, investors, and first and foremost, patients, right? And we're really working to improve the lives of all people living with food allergies and to get rid of food allergies. That's our goal, is to find a cure by the time my daughter goes to college and go out of business.
Wonderful. Well, Ilana, again, thank you so much for coming on the show. This really has been a pleasure. And for everybody listening, and just so you know, we'll definitely put some links to the website, all that good stuff in the show notes, so you can just click on it and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. We're releasing new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey. And that's, again, happening every single day. So be sure to hit the subscribe button. We don't want you to miss a thing. And Ilana, thank you so much again, and appreciate you doing the work that you're doing, and keep it up so that we can come to some cure. So thank you.
Thank you.